For over 2,000 years, the enigmatic historical figure of Jesus Christ has captivated billions across the globe. His profound teachings and purported miracles have shaped the course of history, spirituality, and the human experience itself. Yet beneath the surface of conventional narratives, there exists a deeper, more complex truth about the life and identity of the man we know as Jesus Christ. A truth that has remained hidden for centuries, shrouded in mystery, and locked away within the forgotten records of sacred history. Through the Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, Dolores Cannon embarked on this voyage into the farthest reaches of human consciousness and forgotten history. Her extraordinary discoveries, accessed through deep hypnotic states, challenge established assumptions around Jesus. Join us as we uncover Cannon's radical insights into the deepest mysteries of Jesus. While profoundly controversial, Cannon's revelations align with lost gospels, ancient texts, a growing movement to rethink conventional narratives of Jesus Christ and religious history itself. The truth that will emerge in this video has the power to reconcile faith and reason, bridge religious differences, and reveal a universal spiritual message of love and unity. Chapter 1: The Creation of the QHT Technique opens portals to lost history. In the 1980s, Cannon created her own therapeutic regression method called Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. This method was created to achieve fast, accurate, and thorough access to past memories. QHT induces a remarkably deep hypnotic state, allowing subjects to unlock forgotten memories and make direct contact with higher self-consciousness. In this theta brainwave state, conventional limits of time, space, and identity dissolve, opening portals to lives lived in other times and realms. With QHT, Cannon regressed thousands of subjects to access lost fragments of human history with incredible consistency and detail. Unexpected insights into the life and identity of Jesus emerge. Cannon discovered that when facilitated by a trained QHT practitioner, subjects enter profoundly clear and focused states of hypnosis known as somnambulistic transstates. As Cannon progressed, startling insights into the untold story of Jesus Christ began to emerge. Subjects vividly recounted living during the time of Jesus near ancient communities like the Bsins. Some portrayed Jesus as an enlightened guide on a divine mission to spiritually uplift humanity, described intimate personal relationships with him, and provided perspective on his final thoughts and experiences. As sessions accumulated, Cannon realized QHT had opened a portal into the mysterious, obscured history surrounding one of the most influential spiritual figures of all time. Journey into Christ's hidden origins begins by revisiting the Bsins. Cannon's work suggests the roots of Jesus' identity and spiritual awakening can be traced back to the Bsins, an ascetic Jewish sect based near the Dead Sea, existing from the 2nd century BCE to the 1st century AD. The Bsins sought enlightenment through divine communion, rigorous spiritual practices, scriptural study, ritual purity, and seclusion from mainstream society. Associated with the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Bsins embraced mysticism and prophecy over institutionalized religion. They were known as skilled apothecaries, herbalists, and healers, living in harmony with nature. Some battled dark, occult forces plaguing humanity. Devout devotees strive to transcend earthly existence and achieve unity with divine consciousness itself. The Bsins nurtured enlightened masters and possessed secret esoteric wisdom they guarded closely. According to Cannon's subjects, Jesus was intimately connected to this little-known community and trained in their profound spiritual teachings from childhood through early adulthood. This sets the stage to re-examine Christ's identity through an expansive metaphysical lens. Chapter 2: Jesus obscured early years with the Bsins. Understanding Jesus Christ requires looking beyond the biblical narrative to examine his spiritual roots, upbringing, and developmental years, about which little is conventionally known. Cannon's past life regression sessions shed light on Christ's early connections with the mystical Bsin community and how their secret teachings shaped his spiritual awakening and miraculous abilities. The Bsins provide sanctuary for the young Jesus. Accounts suggest Jesus was under threat from Herod's slaughter of innocents as an infant, forcing his family to flee across the desert to find sanctuary within a Bsin community. Their ascetic lifestyle, rigorous spiritual practices, and seclusion from society kept the young Jesus safe from harm. Several subjects portray serving as Jesus' teacher, caretaker, or mentor during his childhood years sheltered with the Bsins. Growing up in this spiritually charged environment attuned the young Jesus to the non-physical realms, and inward practices were required to perform miraculous healings. The Bsins recognized Jesus as a spiritually gifted child and carefully nurtured his extraordinary potential. Immersion in esoteric knowledge, metaphysics, and alternative medicine. From an early age, Jesus was immersed in the Bsin study of mysticism, meditation, prophecy, and esoteric knowledge secretly passed down through generations. Knowledge of alternative medicine, human energy systems, crystals, herbs, and ritual healing shaped Jesus' skills as a miraculous healer later in his ministry. Subjects describe the Bsins as possessing advanced energy healing abilities, even demonstrating the capacity to manipulate or override human energy fields at deep structural levels. Jesus is portrayed absorbing their profound spiritual sciences, which empowered his later healing miracles by invoking divine energy. Journey to the Far East to study under spiritual masters. Around age 13, Jesus is said to have traveled eastward to study under great spiritual adepts and masters associated with religions like Buddhism and Hinduism. There, he was initiated into the deepest meditation practices and esoteric teachings from different spiritual traditions. Absorbing their secret wisdom amplified his metaphysical abilities and prepared him to share universal mystical truths. Some accounts even suggest Jesus may have traveled as far as the British Isles to places like Glastonbury and brought ancient Celtic Druidic knowledge back to his homeland, synthesizing a cosmology that transcended divisive dogmas. This vast breadth of training prepared Jesus for his later spiritual mission. Returned to share insights, but not required to follow a Bsin lifestyle. Returning after years abroad, Jesus was not compelled to follow the regimented lifestyle practices of the Bsins. His time away exposed him to a diversity of spiritual paths leading to the same divine truth. Jesus embodied an inclusive, unifying approach, seeing beyond sects, divisions, and strict ritual dogmas. His expansive perspective prepared him to ultimately transcend even the initial training that nurtured him. The Bsins provided a foundation of spiritual knowledge, alternative healing, and the development of Jesus' miraculous capabilities. Their secret sciences and metaphysical training in seclusion enabled him to gain self-mastery and return to society, ready to teach universal mystical truths for the upliftment of humanity. The stage was now set for the profound mission to come. Chapter 3: The Public Ministry and Miracles of Jesus Christ Reconsidered. Armed with immense spiritual knowledge and miraculous healing abilities nurtured from childhood, Jesus emerged publicly in his late 20s, ready to share his profound insights for the betterment of humanity. Cannon's work challenges aspects of the biblical portrayal of Christ's brief 3-year ministry, miracles, and relationship with society, hierarchy, and authorities of the day. The length of Jesus' public ministry may exceed the biblical account. According to several subjects, Jesus' public mission teaching across the countryside began earlier and lasted longer than the Orthodox portrayal of his 3-year ministry, culminating with crucifixion around 30 to 33 AD. Some past life accounts suggest Jesus actively taught for more than a decade before the pivotal events in Jerusalem at Passover. If accurate, this indicates much of Jesus' teachings and healings have gone unrecorded. Jesus is seen as the master healer. The Bible depicts Jesus performing profound healings, manifesting food and drink, and demonstrating dominion over nature through abilities like walking on water. Accounts suggest these miracles utilize skills like energy manipulation and spiritual disciplines cultivated from childhood under the Bsins and spiritual masters in the Far East. Subjects describe Jesus as able to perceive and subtly adjust the human energy field and flow of life force to instantly restore health, expel entities, and overcome disease. His miracles are portrayed less as breaking physical laws but rather as consciously utilizing higher spiritual laws of which he had mastery. Jesus is depicted working to uplift individuals spiritually, not solely fix superficial outward problems. The teachings and agenda of Jesus are seen as far more spiritual than political. While the Bible shows Jesus clashing with institutional powers like the Pharisees and Roman authorities, Cannon's accounts downplay political frictions. Jesus is depicted as focusing on sharing eternal spiritual truths transcending organized religion, sects, and politics of the day rather than promoting societal reform. He aimed to provide a path to enlightenment through individual spiritual awakening rather than openly battling Roman rule or the established Jewish hierarchy. Subjects insist the core of Jesus' message has endured beyond the political struggles of the era. Though miracles drew crowds, he appears to avoid sensationalism, remaining focused on humanity's spiritual upliftment. Jesus taught reincarnation, universal truths, and human oneness. Rather than enforcing outer conformity to laws, Jesus is shown teaching inner awakening through meditation, introspection, compassion, and accessing the divine within. He shares wisdom about reincarnation, human origins, the illusion of death, and concepts like oneness drawn from Egyptians, the Far East, and beyond. Jesus affirms the continuity of life after death and the availability of divine guidance open to all. He teaches that humanity consists of eternal consciousness experiencing incarnation in physical form. True salvation comes through transcending the ego, knowing oneself, and recognizing one's connection to omnipresent divinity, the kingdom of heaven within. Jesus models this awakening through his mastery over suffering and the limitations of the mortal condition. Jesus helped those deemed social outcasts and undesirables. The Bible describes Jesus actively reaching out to groups viewed as social pariahs at the time, like lepers, prostitutes, or tax collectors. Accounts suggest he looked past outer appearances to connect with the eternal soul, seeing intrinsic human value and recognizing all beings' divinity. Jesus practiced unconditional love rather than upholding divisions, stigma, and judgment prevalent in society. He emphasized spiritual cleanliness and purification over enforcing superficial ritual purity rules. Jesus appears to attract both social elites and misfits alike, sharing teachings to help both worldly successful and downtrodden overcome ego and know true joy in their eternal nature. His radical inclusion challenged social hierarchies. Chapter 4: Decoding the Death and Resurrection of Jesus Christ. Perhaps the most pivotal sequence of events in biblical history involves the crucifixion and alleged bodily resurrection of Jesus Christ. Cannon's subjects provide a completely new perspective on these final iconic moments in Jerusalem, transporting them into the spiritual realm of metaphor and eternal consciousness. The crucifixion described as a conscious sacrifice, not senseless persecution. Contrary to the story of condemnations, betrayal, and suffering, some subjects describe Jesus willingly allowing his crucifixion as part of a divine orchestration to magnify his teachings. Accounts suggest he could have easily avoided death, but instead consciously chose the crucifixion, knowing it would amplify his message across history. The crucifixion is portrayed as a final demonstration of overcoming mortal anguish by attaining unbroken inner peace and surrendering the ego to God. Jesus willingly sacrifices his body, modeling resurrection and continuity of the spirit, so others may know eternal life. His conscious death mirrors Christ's consciousness, identification with truth beyond death. The resurrection recounted as spiritual, not physical. Rather than emphasizing a literal, bodily resurrection, Cannon's subjects describe Jesus ascending to higher realms and reappearing in visions to his disciples to confirm continuity beyond death. His spirit lived on, providing invisible guidance. The resurrection is conveyed more as a spiritual demonstration of transcending physicality, affirming the illusory nature of death. Jesus' resurrection is meant to uplift humanity by showing that mortal limits can be overcome through spiritual mastery, as he exemplified. His ascension conveys that life is eternal, encouraging others to relinquish attachments and know themselves as indestructible consciousness, not temporary bodies. Jesus showed that death is but a transition between dimensions. Jesus was portrayed as a divine messenger on an enlightening mission, not God. While Christianity views Jesus as the one Son of God, Cannon's subjects provide a more nuanced perspective of him as a spiritually enlightened divine messenger and teacher. They emphasize that Jesus conveyed that he should not be deified or worshipped, but rather that he came to guide humanity to directly experience their own connection with omnipresent divinity. His goal was to help people realize they too house the kingdom of heaven within and can attain self-mastery and enlightenment by following his teachings. Jesus is seen holding the light of universal mystical truths, anchored in but transcending religious dogmas. He aimed to guide humanity to directly access divine wisdom and eternal life already present within. Chapter 5, Jesus taught reincarnation and made previous spiritual appearances. Perhaps most radically, Cannon's discoveries suggest Jesus taught reincarnation and may have made spiritual appearances on Earth prior to the Christian depiction. This implies existence as an eternal, divine consciousness experiencing human incarnation in an ongoing process of evolution parallel to Eastern traditions. Jesus was portrayed as believing in reincarnation. Jesus saw life as cyclical, teaching that souls experience many lifetimes of karmic learning and spiritual growth through rebirth in different physical bodies, cultures, and historical eras. He awakened individuals to see beyond singular lifetimes or histories to perceive the soul's existence across eternity, liberating them from limited earthly identity. This contrasts with Orthodox Christianity professing one lifetime culminating in final judgment. Jesus taught continuity of personality and gradual accumulation of wisdom over many lives until no longer requiring rebirth. He urged humanity to focus on spiritual lessons, not material desires dictating karmic reincarnation. His entire mission aimed to accelerate humanity's spiritual awakening and ascension. Accounts of Jesus manifesting in previous incarnations. Some Cannon subjects recount past life memories of Jesus appearing in ancient cultures like Egyptian and Greek mystery schools, teaching eternal truths about human origins, spiritual nature, and life after death. These depictions suggest he made manifestations spanning millennia aimed at guiding humanity's enlightenment process since antiquity. Through multiple incarnations as enlightened carriers of truth, Jesus worked to uplift human consciousness and counterbalance materialism with an emphasis on spirit. He is described as living ordinary lives through various eras to model overcoming worldly illusions, knowing the higher self, and attaining self-realization, which he ultimately demonstrated so profoundly. Councils of elders said to guide Jesus' missions through the ages. Rather than isolated lifetimes, accounts describe Jesus' earthly journeys as part of an orchestrated sequence supervised by councils of celestial elders and spiritual beings who follow the ongoing progress of humanity's awakening. Jesus acted in alignment with divine will to exemplify the attainment of Christ's consciousness. His appearances through history aim to steer civilization's evolution toward enlightenment, providing course corrections to expand rigid belief structures and inject new energy into religious systems, losing mystical interconnection. Christ manifested as part of a divine plan to gently guide mankind into spiritual maturity and greater remembrance of their true non-physical origins. Conclusion: what do the mysteries of Jesus Christ mean for humanity? These revelations completely transform conventional understandings of Jesus Christ. While challenging orthodox history and doctrine, her insights align with lost gospels describing Christ's unknown early years, training, and focus on mystical teachings. Regardless of belief in any particular religious doctrine, Jesus came as a spiritual wayshower, modeling the levels human consciousness may reach when fully liberated from worldly identification and ego. By seeing beyond the personality of Jesus, we are open to the presence of the Christ Spirit as an innate seed of divinity promised within every human heart. His lasting gift lies in awakening us to our unlimited spiritual potential and the reality of life beyond physical existence. Jesus aimed to guide humanity into wholeness, and the work of Jesus Christ is not finished yet. The Christ Spirit lives on, seated in every soul. See you tomorrow.